Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/slash Tales from Tech Support. In today's episode, HR managers hate this one trick. Okay, now the password is D35P41R. The hug heard around the company. His final message goodbye. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. HR managers hate this one trick. Every office has their special users. The ones who can't figure out anything technical, everything is an emergency, and everything has to function exactly the same or they can't work. At my job, it is the HR lady. Since she is just HR, all her problems boil down to a printer error, Excel, Word, reboot, and it works type of issues, and since I am the system admin, they are all my responsibility. However, every issue she has, she comes back to IT, walks right by my desk, goes to the programmer, manager, network admin, and explains the issue. Every time they either tell her to go me or relay the info to me to fix. A few weeks back, she had a problem with the calculations on an Excel spreadsheet. Everyone was at lunch, so she's forced to ask me. Immediately, I say it is probably rounding up or down because it is only off by a penny. This doesn't suffice, so she ignores me and waits until lunches are done to return. She goes to programmer guy and like usual, he passes it to me. I email her with a breakdown showing how it is rounding. She still wants programmer guy to look at it, so my manager responds with a message saying he will get to when he can. Well, programmer guy is swamped, the new website launch is getting pushed out, her Excel problem gets shelved with her emails coming ever more frequent. My manager even resends my explanation, but she wants programmer guy to look at it. This is unacceptable, so she goes to the VP saying we aren't helping her. My boss sets up a meeting with the three of us for me to explain the issue. It was the shortest meeting ever because I start explaining it, and our VP completely understands right away. The VP cuts me off, looks at HR lady, and says, "You pulled me into a meeting for this sh*T? Okay, now the password is D35P41R. First post in quite some time. I work at a local authority on the helpdesk. Social workers are the bane of my existence, but you learn to cope with their general incompetence as part of the job. But sometimes they can still surprise you. This happened today. So, we use a generic username for most of our computers so that people can log onto the machine, then from there they log into Citrix to work. Everyone knows the username and password for this. It's literally written on the walls in most areas, because the only thing it can access is another login page, so it isn't a security issue. Most of these accounts stay logged on at all times to save confusing the geniuses that work here. A guy rang up, said hello, and asked for the generic login details. I've changed the exact username and password, but other than that, this is more or less word for word. Genius, so what's the username? Me, it's computer. Genius, so is that the asset number of the PC? Me, no, it's just the word computer. Genius, and then / my name? Me, no. It's the word computer. COMPUTER, computer. Nothing else. Genius, and what's the password? Me, it's P4SWORD. As in, the word password with a capital P, but you replace the with a 4. Genius, so it's password 4? Me, no. It is not. It is P4SSWORD with a capital P at the beginning. Everything else is lowercase. Genius, okay, so the username is computer P4SWORD. What's the password? Me, no. The username is computer. The password is P4SWORD. That's everything. Just 2 words. 2 boxes, 2 words. Genius, type, it didn't work. I typed in password, but it said it's incorrect. Me, spell out what you typed for me please. Genius, PASSWORD. Me, very slowly and clearly, in case it was my accent or something. Like I said. Capital P, number 4. Lowercase s, lowercase s, lowercase w, lowercase o, lowercase r, lowercase d, P4 word. Genius, type click nope. And it says the account is locked. I used a capital P this time definitely. Me, did you use a 4 instead of the A? Genius, use 4 what's? I remote to the machine and typed it in for him. He complained that the system was needlessly complicated. The hug heard around the company. I was thrust a laptop by an angry exec early this morning with him complaining that his laptop had locked up again. Normally we have a ticketing system in place for any and all tech issues. However, when an exec wants something, he bypasses the system because of RHIP. So I go through the normal routine of diagnosis, and through my efforts I see that the issue is simply bad RAM. I replace the RAM and take the unit back to the exec. He tells me he refuses to take the unit unless I have made 100% sure that everything that was wrong with it is fixed. Internally I wanted to punch this man, but I held it in and simply asked him what other issues he was having and pulled out a notepad. He ran through a load of issues that all screamed just run fkin CCleaner to me, and I took his unit back to my desk. After going through and cleaning out BS installed programs used literally once and never again and cleaning out junk data, I found that a folder in his roaming was reading 12 gigabytes, but was hidden. I log in with my creds and enable viewing hidden or protected files, and I see that the hidden folder was from 2014. Basically, it was just a bunch of pictures and looked to be a temp folder created by one of the old programs I removed. Some kind of picture manager or some such. Normally, when we see personal pictures on the machine, we are supposed to delete them immediately. Now no one ever does this as we are not that big of D***CKs in the IT department, plus this guy was an exec, so I decided to just move the pictures to his desktop under a folder I created called Old Pics. I took the laptop to him and informed him of the pics, telling him I left it up to him if he wanted them deleted or not. He thanked me for my time and I went back to work. About an hour later, him and his wife, who had come up to join him for lunch, came over to my desk. He seemed very happy and she was crying. Now normally when I have nothing to do and a boss comes over, I stand up to greet them. Just the way I was raised, I guess. I was not prepared for what followed and was totally shocked by the outcome. The lady wanted to thank me for finding the pictures, and the exec reached out to shake my hand, thanking me profusely before pulling me into a hug in front of the entire IT department. I awkwardly hugged him back and he let me go embarrassed. My eyes are wide, flabbergasted and totally unprepared for this, extremely out of character moment from this guy. Barely able to hold back the tears, his wife tells me that the pictures I recovered were thought to be lost. In 2012 their 4-year-old son had died of leukemia, and the pictures I recovered were taken right before his diagnosis at 3 years of age. Because of a house fire a few years ago, they thought they lost every last photo of their son. Apparently those were the photos I had recovered. His wife reached out to hug me and everyone in the IT department stared at their screens hard with puffy eyes, as we were all not expecting this kind of emotional event today. My boss came out of his office to personally thank me and forwarded an email chain to me ahead of a company-wide email that the CEO sent out, basically retelling the tale while naming me personally. He threw in words about striving for excellence and the unexpected results of everyday excellence. I had to turn off my Skype for Business as the attaboys kept coming in one after the other. My boss told me to take my lunch early since the flood of messages was making it hard to do my job. His final message: goodbye. This is the story about the most emotional call I've ever taken. I work at an ISP as a Tier 2 representative for tech support. Essentially, one of the jobs I have is programming calling features. This call in particular happened about a month ago. A ticket had came to my queue about a customer having trouble accessing her voicemails. I dug deeper and found it was full as well. No problem, there were some programming errors, which I fixed and called the customer, who will be known as Sweet Elderly Woman. So, SEW, hello? Me, intro, verification. So, I am calling because you reported an issue with your voicemail today. SEW, oh yes. Is it fixed? Me, yes. It should be. I found that your box is full. It has maximum amount of messages in it. SEW, dear, I'd hate to be a bother, but could I get you to go in and delete them for me? We have a way of accessing the messages if the customer cannot, doesn't want to, etc. Me, absolutely. I will gladly do this for you, SEW, and I'll call you back when I'm finished. SEW, yes please. She thanks me and I hang up to go access the messages. Knowing full well that this is going to take at least 15 minutes, I go and read Wikipedia articles as the messages are playing. I eventually reach the last message, and it catches my attention. I stopped reading, listened to it, began tearing up and saved it in her box. I compose myself before calling back. SEW, hello? Me, hi. It's /u/devdevo1919 again. I listened to all the messages and deleted them all except for one. SEW, oh thank you, sweetheart. Why did you leave one? Me, SEW, I think you should listen to it. I will hang up to give you some time, okay? SEW, okay, dear. I gave her time to listen to the message and called her back. She was crying when I called her back. It was then I learned the story. The message was from her husband who had passed away due to brain cancer 3 days after he left the message. It was him saying goodbye and that he loves SEW so much, and he's never felt more alive all the years she spent with him. SEW was crying because he was deceased by the time she got to the hospital, and had not heard his voice. She said I gave her part of herself back that she'd lost when he passed away. She thanked me and we disconnected the call.